Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Hello, welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Dupre.
And I'm Carol Dupre.
And I'm so excited to be here today. Carol and I just got back from our Childcare Genius Live Conference in Las Vegas. Carol, was it fun?
It was very fun.
Oh, man, we had a good time.
Exciting.
It was. Just about 300 childcare owners and directors. And boy, they were some excited, weren't they?
They were.
Gambling, partying, learning, and just having a good time. We saw one of our people jumped out of an airplane. Carol jumped off the stratosphere. We had a bunch of people go to the Hoover Dam. We had a few go to Grand Canyon. We went up to Red Rock Canyon, and we saw a bunch of them zip lining down Fremont Street. So it was a wild time. Yeah. And we were at the Golden Nugget downtown and just enjoyed it and really poured our hearts out with a lot of content in there. So if you did not get a chance to attend the conference, we hope you'll come next year to Las Vegas or Childcare Genius Live Conference. And if you don't want to wait that long, we have another conference we'd like to tell you about. It's our Childcare Genius Financial Leverage Conference. They teach you all about the financial part of your business. Every topic that we're going to teach is financial in nature and really advanced. And probably nothing you've ever heard at any childcare conference in the world ever. And that is going to be in Riviera Maya, Mexico, September 29th to October 3rd. Details are on our website, childcaregenius.com, and the conference tab under the financial leverage. So there's a lot of cool things going on. We hope you'll join us at a future event. We're actually going to be doing our next 4 podcasts after this one are going to be all financial related topics. I think even the next 5 podcasts, we're going to do all financial. So we're going to start with a nice focus in to help you with the area that is probably the least understood. The most problems is in financial and childcare. Would you agree? People probably the weakest part of business ownership is the financial, because we don't have accounting degrees.
Right. So many people don't know their numbers.
And I asked a couple of people at the conference. I said, how much money did you make last year? And they had no idea. I've talked to people who I said, do you have a copy of a P&L? What's a P&L? And it's okay, I understand, but when you run $1 million company, you probably need to know your numbers, and we'll teach that at that event. So we got a great podcast in store for you today. This woman who I'm interviewing, and Carol's interviewing here, is become a rock star in our childcare world. We have coached her for 1.5 years, and she literally has totally changed her life. Her and her husband have just been amazing. They're traveling all over the world now. They're still in their schools and just really killing it. So let's enjoy the episode. Sit back and relax.
Let's get Faith on the line. Hi, Faith. Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's nice to see it through you again.
Hi, Faith. But long time no see, I'd like to say to our audience, we just got back from the Childcare Genius Live Conference in Vegas, 300 childcare owners and directors. And we had a good time, didn't we, Faith?
We had a great time. It was high action.
Awesome. Oh, man, it was wonderful. If you look at my office right now where I record my podcast, I have stuff everywhere. We had 4 big suitcases we took home, and it's literally all over my floor of my office. So I'm trying to get
it did yesterday.
It does look better. I made some progress on it today, but we are just so excited. We did some good training down there. We had some good speakers, we had some guest speakers, and you spoke there, and we
I
did
did.
fantastic. But a lot of
Thank
people
you.
don't know who you are. Maybe they, this maybe have met you across the way. But I figured I'd have you come to the podcast. We have an important announcement we'll make later on. But can you tell the audience a little bit about your background, what your life was like before you started in the childcare business?
Yeah, it was very different. So prior to getting into childcare, I was in manufacturing operations in the process engineering side of high volume manufacturing, 24/7 manufacturing. Um, and in a previous recession, I was one of several members that was downsized as the company tried to reduce their overhead. So I actually licensed up and started a family daycare in my state and went through that process, went back to school for early childhood education, and ended up growing from a family daycare, group family daycare, one center, directly from one center to three centers, which is where I quickly found myself in over my head and not sure what to do next, which is when I found you guys.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you did. We've gotten to know you quite a bit over the last year and a half, and absolutely love you and your husband. Great team. He's got a great name,
Thank you.
Brian. So he's a great
Brian
member.
also.
Yeah. Um, and it's been the rest is history, I guess. So glad we found you.
So we've been coaching you for over a year. What do you like best about Genius University coaching program? And do you think it's worth the investment?
Um, it's definitely worth the investment. It certainly was for me. It's hard to pinpoint one thing that I love the most about it because there's just so many different methods of information sharing and growth and development that I got out of being a university member. One-on-one coaching, certainly fabulous. It allowed me to reach out to somebody who knew me, knew my business, knew my industry, knew where we were in the cycle of our business. And it gave me somebody to reach out to when I needed to set goals, when I had a crisis, which is, you know, certainly something that we deal with regularly enough in the childcare industry as a whole, and when I needed to make big moves in my business, be it, expansion or otherwise. But also just the networking that you get out of the university, meeting other people who are in the same industry. It's very easy to feel like you're alone in the childcare industry, especially when you're the boss, especially when you're the owner slash director, because you have all the employees and zero peers. You're kind of in a silo. At least that's how I felt like I was. But you know, being able to be in a group of like-minded people who share the same struggles and who have already, gotten through things and come out the other side from where some of us were, and to be able to have that shared knowledge, and the network where you have a question or you're dealing with a problem. It's not just one person, it's not just your coach saying, here's what I know, here's my solution. But, there's 80 other businesses in the group that say, this is what I did and this is what worked, and this is what I did and this is what worked. And when you need a resource, you don't have to start from square one and reinvent the wheel. Everybody says, here's what I did. Oh, I'll share mine with you and you can tweak it accordingly, or, pull out the pieces that are relevant to your business. So it's just this whole pool of information and just knowledge sharing and support that, I mean, that all of those things together just creates the perfect, it was just the perfect dynamic for me to be able to grow my business. And as you know, not only did my business change dramatically, but our life changed dramatically because of it.
Yeah, speaking of life change dramatically, you've been doing a little bit of traveling.
A little
And one
bit.
thing that when I first met you, one of the biggest things you wanted to gain was your freedom, your life
Yep.
back. You were
Yep.
being held hostage to your business. You were tied
It
to it.
was.
I like handcuffed to it, I would say.
Yeah.
And why don't you talk a little bit about the last 6 months because it's been life changing, and we we're very similar lifestyle that you have
Mhm.
now. And tell the audience a little bit about this. I think some people be a little jealous.
Yeah. So, as you know, when we met, not quite 2 years ago, I had 3 centers and was literally drowning. I was an insomniac. I was a ball of stress constantly, and I just was not myself at all. And there was no point in our life where I felt like we could relax. And since the coaching, we've changed the model of our centers. We now replaced ourselves in the day-to-day operations. Our centers have been running remotely. Well, we've been operating our centers remotely with our teams, staying in touch. We set up all of the systems so that not only did we not have to be on site, we weren't even in town in the state, and for a good portion of it, we weren't even in the country. And our center still continued to run. So last September, we left our state and traveled down the East Coast for 108 days. And right after Christmas, we went overseas. And I think we were 8 different countries over 111 days. And, everything was not without its minor hiccups, but overall, things ran well. And we pretty much spent the last 7 months traveling. So it's been phenomenal.
Now, how about that, ladies and gentlemen, for lifestyle? And the businesses ran, still made money. Your team worked without you. You didn't have to have that in there. And we're proud because I remember you setting that as a goal, and we worked on it. You and I mean, you did all the work. Obviously, we coached you along the way. And I just love seeing when our members, set a goal and they work hard and they attain it. And your goal was freedom, and you got
Right.
freedom out of it. And we just absolutely love that. So you're one of my success stories, one of many. We have hundreds
sure.
of them, but when I followed you, I've been coaching you personally for so long, and your husband and you and Carol and I become good friends. And I said, you know what? I want somebody like that on my team to help other people reach their goals. So, I invited you to join the Child Care Genius University faculty, and you accepted. And some people have heard the rumors about that. We just announced you in the Child Care Genius Live conference. You were one of our featured speakers, by the way. But you're actually coming on as a vice president in charge of coaching and business development. So you're going to oversee all of the coaching and help us develop the business even farther, because you have that engineering background of yours is really going to help us with processes and systems.
Yeah.
And what are you most excited about in your new role?
Hands down, the ability to make sure that all of our university members get the support they need to reach whatever their goals are. Because I know I couldn't have even imagined when we started the university where we were, in not just in our business, but in our life, and how that was ruled by our business. I couldn't have imagined that really, it was just over a year later, that our life would be so dramatically different. So to be able to set up the university to better help our university members reach their goals, and not just their business goals, but their life goals, and help them get their business to support that. That's definitely what I'm most excited about, given, the experience that I had and where I was versus where I am now after the coaching. I want all of our university members to be able to experience that.
Yeah, we get to meet people at whatever level they want. And some people might hear this episode, Faith, and that might become their new goal. Is what? I think my
Maybe.
husband and I want to travel a little bit and see the world, and we could run businesses remotely. And we have several clients that do this, that travel a lot. We have several clients that live in one state and their centers are in another. So
Right.
we have one client who has schools in 3 different states.
Yep.
So you can do it if you set processes to it and you know what you're doing. We can obviously coach you to that. And whatever people's dreams are, Faith, we're going to help them obtain those goals, aren't we?
Yeah, I definitely believe that. And I think people, when they get into coaching, I know initially I did this, I limited my coaching goals to my business. And then I had an epiphany one day and said, why am I limiting this? I need to be setting life goals and then get my business to help me achieve them, not just set business goals and get coaching to help me achieve them, because the coaching helped me reach the business goals that were set in place to help me reach my life goals. So it really is bigger than just business coaching.
Absolutely, Faith. And that's something we teach. Carol and I are big on teaching the whole person.
Right.
And that involves everything from relationship to life to finances to children to, how to work with us, communication, partnership. Because if one area of your life is off, your business is going to be off. So you got to have the perfect zen all around and all the different points of relationship and all the points of your business. And if you just coach to the business, other things will suffer because there's not, you're not a well-rounded person. So I think we're the only coaching group that coaches to the whole person. Basically a life coach wrapped in a business coach that helps you a little bit on the relationship side too, to make sure that you don't get off balance. And I'm glad you gravitated to that information. You're probably one of the people that have I think realized the biggest success of the life coaching part as far as using it to change your completely life has changed. In the last 2 years, you've gone from a frustrated business owner to a free business owner. And now you're gonna repeat that and help other people and pay it forward, which is just what I just love.
And that is the part that I'm most excited about is, I know the pain and the stress that I was under when we first met, and I see it in some of the faces and in some of the conversations that I've had with some of our university members, especially our new members, and even the people that haven't quite decided whether or not coaching is for them. They're still going through those same pains. So to be able to help someone get out of that and kind of take their life back from their business, I really look forward to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Faith, you'll be a featured speaker at our Child Care Genius Financial Leverage Conference in Cancun this year. And you've been to a lot of conferences. What makes the Child Care Genius Conference different?
Yeah, right off the bat, I can say it's not full of fluff. There's no selling. We don't have vendor halls. All of the university content, everything that's taught at the conference is value added. You're walking away every single session. You've actually learned something that you can take away and implement right away in your business. So you don't waste your time spending a day or a couple days listening to a hurrah session, just content filler that really doesn't have any substance to it. To me, when I was going to other conferences, that was the most frustrating thing for me because I took time away from my business to go to these conferences to learn something. And I might have got a couple snippets of something out of the entire day. But I didn't feel that that was enough value to have warranted me stepping away from my business for that amount of time based on what I got out of it because of just the lack of content, I guess, lack of useful content, and going to the CCG conferences. I remember the very first one I went to years ago. I didn't even want to leave to go to the bathroom because I was so afraid I was going to miss something. And my husband said, "I'll take notes, just go." I'm like, no, I have to stay. I'll make it to the break. Just because the content in it is so valuable that you don't want to miss out on it because it really is relevant to making almost immediate improvements. So it's probably the most the high value content conference that I've ever attended. That's why I've gone to everyone since.
And it's
I've
funny, I
actually
remember. Okay.
Since my very first Child Care Genius conference, I never went to a different conference after. Well, I think I went to one. And then I totally regretted it. But I've gone to every single university or Child Care Genius conference since the very first one. But it is by far the most value added for me. And we did go to one after that, and I regretted it. We only went because it was local, and it still was a waste of our time.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of good childcare conferences out there, so we're definitely not saying that there's not good conferences out there. We
These
just
were
do
the
things a
best
little
for
bit
me, for
for
sure.
you, yeah.
Yeah.
I never put anybody else down because there are a lot of good ones, but I get that and I appreciate that, the kind word. I remember having a conversation with you and Brian, like you were hesitant about going to other conference because you'd been burned, and I said, listen, we're different. And I think that was our very first conference ever we were doing. And when I
So,
first designed these conferences, I said, we're going to design them a conference that I'd like to go to because, I have ADHD. I can't just sit still and fluff sends my, because it's like useless content to me when I see cheerleaders and fluffs and,
right.
it's hard for me to focus anyway. And really long sessions are hard for me to focus too. So there's certain things I'm looking for. and shorter days. So all those things we
Right.
designed our conferences different. So somebody like me would enjoy going to it, and guys too, you don't see many guys in the childcare industry. And if you go to our conference, it's 30 to 40% men
Hmm.
because, I think it's because of Carol and I working as a couple. We gravitate to a lot of couples in there. And we actually took a picture with all the men in Vegas last week, and there were a lot of men
That's
there. We had a
great.
good men's photo, a good looking
Yep.
group too. And I was excited that, that we're not we're still in the minority as far as numbers are concerned, but we're definitely growing. I used to be the only guy at a job, and we were just a couple of us, and it felt really, like we felt like we were second class citizens sometimes. And we definitely felt like we were in the wrong profession. I probably felt like a male nurse in the early days, that it was, just you're just kind of a loner. And I found my way, and now we have a tribe with a full group of men and women. So one of the things you're going to be doing, Faith, is working with people on coaching. And if someone's interested in doing a free coaching session with you, how would they go about booking it?
Yeah. So, you know, you need to be an owner of a childcare center, at least one, um, needing help with mindset, finance, marketing, staffing, systems operation, growth, any of those things, or even succession planning. I know that that's something that we go through with our clients. And, we won't do the work, as you know, for our clients, but we will set them up with the right steps to be successful. So they just have to be willing to do the work, and we'll provide the resources and the support. So going to childcaregenius.com under the coaching tab, selecting, clicking on that free coaching call button, and we'll be able to sit down and do an analysis and find out where they are, where they're looking to be, and how, if we can, excuse me, if and how we can get them there.
So if you're looking to learn what Faith has done, and do something similar in your business, have freedom, basically buy your
Yeah.
life back, whether you want to travel or not. Maybe you just want to stay home and homeschool your kids. That's what Carol did. When I got freedom in my business, I was able to run it and get her home so she could homeschool the kids through high school. That was something that we wanted to do. And Carol and I have traveled, and we still own schools, and we're in the Caribbean at least 120 days a year. So our schools run remotely, very similar to what you've done. Because I remember you saying, I want to do what you do, just, being able to basically have your life back.
Yeah.
So if you're listening in the audience and you're tired of being controlled by your business and you want to control your business, go to childcaregenius.com under the coaching tabs, like a free coaching call, and you'll get set up in Faith's calendar and spend 30, 40, 45 minutes with Faith, and she will show you how to get those systems in place that you can have that kind of lifestyle, and maybe help you with finance or help you with staffing or something in the area that you're struggling with. You'll definitely get takeaways to get your business moving in the right direction. So thank you, Faith, for offering that. Again, you have to be a childcare center owner. That's one of the stipulations to get the free coaching call. Um, and thank you so much. Do you have anything else to add for the audience?
Uh, you guys have changed my life. I mean, absolutely changed my life. And I'm so grateful and appreciative. Not only me, my husband is, my team is, and certainly my family is just so grateful for, how much, just how significantly, going through the university changed our life. And we enjoy it probably more now than we ever have before. So thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on the team and being willing to pay that forward, because it's great to have your own success when you start helping other people achieve,
Yeah.
I'm getting emotional just hearing you tell your story, because knowing we had very, very small part in making a big difference in your life, in your family's life. And now that you're going to be grandparents, I hope that's public information.
It
Um,
is now. Yeah, no, it is.
um, maybe you'll want to stick home a little bit closer. So maybe we don't have to help people from Vietnam or Thailand. We could help people from New York. So I may be a little selfish and glad that we are going to be a little closer and not traveling all the road for a little bit. But we're young, Faith. We got a lot of life ahead of us, and I could definitely see Brian and I hanging out in London, and you and Carol going shopping in Paris. I could definitely see that in our future.
Perfect. That sounds like a great winter plan.
Amen to that. Well, anyway, thanks for coming on the Childcare Genius podcast, sharing that vision. If you want to reach out to Faith, her email is faith, Faith, at childcaregenius.com. And we look forward to seeing you on a future episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. Thank you, Faith, for coming on with us today.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, they're killing it, aren't they?
They are.
I love to see people that we have a vested interest in changing their lives.
And I'm excited to have her on our team.
Oh, that is gold right there. To have her working full time, running the coaching department, which is very important. We have, 8 coaches on our team, so it's a lot to manage, and helping us with business development and really helping to change lives and helping other people to live the lifestyle that she's created.
Right.
Her and her husband have created in this great childcare business, and be able to travel 6 months and literally gone 6 months, and your business is bigger than when you come back than when you left, and that's just absolutely amazing. So we hope you'll listen to the episode. If you need a free coaching call with Faith, go ahead and do what we said earlier to book a call with her. And we hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Childcare Genius podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.